Namaste everyone. Welcome to my channel Ashwin's Astrology. On March 25th, Falgun Purnima, we have penumbral lunar eclipse in Hasta Nakshatra, Kanya Rashi. This eclipse is mainly visible to North America, South America, much parts of Europe, Africa, Australia, New Zealand, and some parts of East Asia. Even though it's not visible to our country Bharat, we will also experience its effects. Because, as per the scriptures, region where eclipse is visible will have maximum effects and region where it's not visible also will have some considerable effects. In this video, first I will explain the effects of eclipse on the whole world and then for individual moon signs which will have major impact of eclipse. If you want to watch just for your individual moon sign, then make use of the timestamp provided in the description. So let's begin with the video. Astronomically, we are aware that sun is natural luminary and moon derives light from sun. When earth comes between sun and moon, lunar eclipse occurs. This happens only on full moon. The same concept is explained in Vedic astrology as well, but with addition of shadowy planets, Chaya Graha, Rahu and Ketu. When it's full moon, sun and moon would be in opposite signs because on full moon, moon has to receive complete light so that it can happen only when sun and moon are opposite one at 180-degree apart in zodiac. Now, eclipse happens only when sun and moon conjuncts with Rahu and Ketu in the signs these shadowy planets are present. Rahu is the north node of the moon and Ketu is the south node of the moon. So, in this penumbral lunar eclipse, moon is conjunct with Ketu in Kanya Rashi and sun is conjunct with Rahu in Meena Rashi. Thus, it's known as Ketu Grasta Chandra Grahana. Now, let's see what are the effects of this Ketu Grasta Chandra Grahana on the world. So, let's start with the prediction part. Before moving ahead to the predictions part, first let's see lunar eclipse timings. So, lunar eclipse is visible in other parts of the world and not in India. So, I have taken the UTC time to show that. So, penumbral eclipse begins at around 4:53 a.m. as per GMT, and maximum eclipse will occur around 7 a.m. 12 minutes, and penumbral eclipse, that is the complete eclipse, will end around 9:32 a.m. So this is GMT time period, that is keeping the London UTC time as the main. So if we cast a kundli at the same time for the place London, this is how it looks like. We can see the Grahan will start in Kumbha Lagna and it will happen in the 8th house from the Lagna. So Moon and Ketu conjunction is in the 8th house and Chandra Grahan will happen in the 8th house. So having an eclipse in the 8th house during the time period is never a good one. So we can expect some major changes across the world from political perspective, some social perspective, from industrial perspective, and the way transportation works, because moon is the planet for shipping, logistics, transportation. So we can expect some um, unprecedented events or unpleasant events as well during this time period. So it is advised for everyone, wherever you are living across the world, kindly avoid traveling for next 1 week. Even if it's a short travel also, please avoid traveling, because the planet which is responsible for short travels or for transportation, shipping, logistics and all is not in the good stand, is undergoing an eclipse, and even Mercury, moon's disposer, is also not in a good position. So it is well advised to not to go or not to make any kind of travel. People may say that Mercury is away from Sun Rahu at least 7 8 degrees, but Mercury is in Gandant. So that's also very important. So moon is in eclipse and moon's disposter is in Gandant. So that's also not a good sign. So kindly avoid any kind of travels for next 1 week. So this is highly advisable, and because especially don't visit watery places, fountains, fantasy parks, or amusement parks, or any waterfalls, any places, rivers, um, any place where there is an abundance of water, please don't visit. And moon Ketu conjunction also causes scarcity of water. So places which is already suffering the scarcity of water may experience much more scarcity of water. So kindly use the natural resource water in a very apt and optimal manner, because water is an essential resource and everyone needs water. So if anyone has excess of water, kindly don't waste it. Try to protect or to share it with others, and make sure it is not wasted, because moon Ketu conjunction and this Ketu Grasta Chandra Grahana will induce the scarcity of water problems also, because in Bangalore now we do have this issue, and that's why it is very important to save water as well. Now let's move ahead to individual moon sign predictions. Firstly, Mesh Rashi. So for Mesha Rashi natives, this eclipse is happening in your sixth house. So this gives a general indication of possibility of accidents. So as mentioned earlier, kindly avoid going to any watery places, and be mindful about colleagues. Health issues will continue and expenses will keep increasing, because your sixth house is afflicted. So you have to be careful about all the things which sixth house represents: rogue, ripu, and rent. So that's very important. For Vrishabh Rashi, because the eclipse is happening in your fifth house, you may face some issues with children, and avoid any kind of arguments with your beloved ones, because fifth house is for emotions and also for everything you love to do. So kindly avoid any kind of arguments with people who are very dear and closer to you. And fifth house is for speculations, tradings, investments, and all. So kindly avoid trading or any new investments also for some time period. 15 days after the eclipse, and or at least 1 month after the eclipse. So avoid any trading and new investments, because you have Jupiter still in the 12th house. Avoid, like, you will have a lot of expenditures, so avoid unnecessary expenditures, but most of the expenditures which would happen would be on important ones. So that's one thing noted. Next, for Mithun Rashi, you might have to end up working at your workplace for a long hours, and because your moon, who is your second lord, is afflicted in the fourth house, your mental peace could be at stake. So you might feel it uneasy, or you might feel disappointed, and a bit of frustration also might come up, because your Rashadipati is currently in Gandant and is in 10th house. Mercury, Buddha is currently in Gandant here. So that's why your Rashadipati is weak, and your fourth house lord is also Buddha only. So who is Neech and is in Gandant. And Moon, who is the natural Karaka for mental peace, is also at a problematic situation. That is, he is in eclipse. So don't invest in property and vehicles, and any kind of savings you have spent, which will it will go for good and useful stuffs only, because moon with Ketu, who is in Hasta nakshatra only, definitely will make sure that it is spent for good and useful stuffs only. But majority of the time what happens is that you might end up spending for too many things at once. So kindly keep your expenses also in check, because savings is something very important, and your second lord is afflicted. So you need to be very careful. Next comes Simha Rashi. I'm skipping Karka Rashi here, because for Karka Rashi, this eclipse is happening in third house, and third house being an Upachaya Sthana, it won't give much results, because usually in 3-9 axis, or if it is in 11th house, eclipses won't matter much, and that's why I'm skipping Karka Rashi here. For Simha Rashi, this eclipse is happening in the second house, so you could be having some family issues, and there could be some savings and monetary crunch also. And because second house is also house of speech, be careful in what you speak, because second lord Mercury is in eighth house, so it can bring some drastic changes which you were not expecting, and that can all can happen with what you speak. So because of Ketu and Moon conjunction, you might not only discover, or you might not feel what you are actually speaking also sometimes. So it's good to have a check on that as well. Next, coming to Kanya Rashi, it's in your Rashi, the eclipse is happening. So definitely mentally you would be disturbed. Sometimes workplace could be sort of nightmare for you also. You would never like to live in the your personal life and professional life both seems to be completely affected. And because seventh house is also uh, taking that effect, your marital life could be very much troubled also. So you would be mentally disturbed, and personally, professionally, and also from marital life perspective, you may not find any kind of peace for next 15-20 days. So until Chaitra Purnima, this effects would be there. We do have one more solar eclipse on 8th of April, but that will trigger some other kind of effects. But these effects generally remain for next 1 month until Chaitra Purnima. Next comes Tula Rashi. For Tula Rashi, there will be a loss of money because it's happening in a 12th house. So, unnecessary expenses may occur, and especially on food and medicines. So, health wise, you have to be very careful, and you might simply start spending for unnecessary stuffs. So, that also you have to take care. And because your 10th lord is in eclipse and it is in the 12th house, which is aspected by Sun, who is also like will be undergoing an eclipse very soon. So there could be possibility of loss of job because your Mercury is not in a good shape. He is your ninth lord as well as your 12th lord. So ninth lord in a very problematic and a traumatic situation in sixth house indicates that you might have to face some setbacks at a workplace also. So if you are in a kind of a job where hiring and firing is very common, then there is a high possibility of loss of job also to Tula Rashi natives. Next, coming to Dhanur Rashi. For Dhanur Rashi natives, you may experience some sudden changes in career, and you might be dissatisfied also in your career, and your parents' health also needs some amount of attention because 410 axis is where we are seeing most of the activities, and ninth lord is in 4th house and afflicted in Rahu Ketu axis. So both your mother and father, their health needs attention. And career definitely because of Moon Ketu presence in 10th house, and Moon is 8th house lord, so he brings that energy of sudden changes also. So you might experience that also, but whatever the changes in career you will be having, that will never be in your favor, and you might be completely dissatisfied as well. So that is one expected result for Dhanu Rashi because of this eclipse. Next, coming to Kumbh Rashi. As I mentioned here, I'm skipping both Makar Rashi as well as Vrishchik Rashi because for Vrishchik Rashi, this will be in the 11th house, and for Makar Rashi, this will be in the 9th house. So, generally, 9th house, 11th house have facing eclipse will do good from the monetary perspective. So, it will give good amount of money, good amount of life also. So, I'm skipping those two Rashis along with Kark Rashi. Now coming to Kumbh Rashi, the eclipse is happening in your eighth house, and the lagna of the grahana only is in Kumbh Lagna. So you would be mentally stressed out. There would be so much of family pressure, disputes, loss in business, and your mother's health will be a concern, and you also might undergo through suicidal tendencies. So, if you have any Kumbha Rashi born person in your family, please be careful about them. Please don't leave them alone. They might have some amount of suicidal tendencies as well because Venus would be moving out of Kumbha Rashi on 26th of March, the very next day of the eclipse. So there would be only Mars and Saturn. So it becomes very difficult for Kumbh Rashi natives to handle Mars Saturn energy in the Rashi also, and also this eclipse effects which is in 8th house. So they are mentally stressed out, and they definitely need some amount of space to consider to reconcile themselves. So this is very much required for Kumbh Rashi natives. Next, coming to the final Rashi, Meen Rashi. This is happening in your seventh house. So you might start feeling disinterested in marital life, and there could be some amount of frustrations, disappointments, and uh, business partnerships also may break, because moon ketu in 7th, ketu is someone who ruptures, who detaches you, or who separates you also. He's a planet of separation also. So that's why, because shanivat rahu kujvat ketu, so he might create havoc the way Mars creates. So, because Mars is also aspecting this house, that's very important to note down here. And there could be a cheating in partnerships or relationships as well. You might suddenly find out that your partner is in relation with someone else and is just cheating you on it, or anything sort of that, because fifth lord in a seventh house with ketu and with the aspect of Mars and sun, Mercury, Rahu, all this. So this is what we can indicate that it's not a um, good time for Meena Rashi. They do have the Shubhakartar Yoga, Jupiter Venus right now, but on 26th of March, Venus comes exalted in your Rashi, but even Venus will be afflicted with Mercury, Rahu, Sun in all this combination, and we do have one solar eclipse on 8th of April where even Venus would be participating. So that's why. So this is a very important time period for Meen Rashi also. So it might help you to discover the actual truth. So cheating in like, if you're, it may be that your partner or your business partner, or even your life partner, or your girlfriend, boyfriend, anyone could be cheating you in the relation also. So, and you might find out that as well. So this is also very much possible. So for all the things which I have mentioned so far, if you have even the slightest promise in your individual birth horoscope, then current time period would be the time when these promises would manifest as an event. So if in your birth horoscope, if there is a promise of your partner will cheat you in relationship, then currently it might happen. If there is no such promise of cheating in relationships, then this time period would not manifest that kind of event only. So that's why I'm mentioning, kindly check your horoscope whether you have that kind of a combination. So if your seventh house is afflicted with Rahu, Ketu, or with by any malefics, or if your benefic is afflicted and is in connection with your seventh house, then that shows the promise of getting cheated in relations. So this is very important. So these were the individual moon sign predictions due to eclipse actually. So the best remedy would be chanting Vishnu Sahasranama, because Moon Ketu conjunction is happening in Kanya Rashi, which is the Rashi of Mercury. So for Buddha, who is in Gandan. So the only way to get rid of all these problems would be chanting Vishnu Sahasranama. So highly recommending Vishnu Sahasranama. There are mantras of Chandra also, Ketu also, all the Navagraha mantras that also you can make use of. But best remedy at the time period, which I can say, is definitely Vishnu Sahasranama. So this eclipse also trigger many health related issues also, because it's happening in the natural health house, sixth house. So please take care of your health. This is for every individual, irrespective of which Rashi, which Lagna, or wherever they are staying in this world. So kindly take care of your health, especially in terms of food intake. Please be very, very careful. So these were the predictions for penumbral lunar eclipse. I hope you like this video. Kindly like, share, and comment on this video, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel and press the bell icon to receive instant notifications. So until we meet again, thank you and have a good day.